So, what does Spider-Man 2 and Dredge have in common? Both were nominated for some awards at the Game Awards this year, and neither of them won anything. So, question is, should you buy Dredge? Is Dredge worth the price? Is Dredge worth your hard-earned money? In short, hell yeah. Let's talk about it. Game's description. Dredge is a single-player fishing adventure with a sinister undercurrent. Sell your catch, upgrade your boat, and dredge the depths for long-buried secrets. Explore a mysterious archipelago, and discover why some things are best left forgotten. Let's talk about the art style. Dredge incorporates this kind of like hybrid 2D hand-drawn, hand-painted character models and this 3D low poly stylized feel. From afar, everything carries detail and you can see the complete picture of what's being depicted, but up close it looks lightweight in terms of detail. The hand-drawn painted models of the fish and characters look incredible. It adds to the overall creepy vibes of the story. You have this low poly stylized art style for the 3D portions of the world. So the boat, the islands, everything that you're interacting with in the world. But when you open menus, everything is in 2D. Models of the fish and the characters are hand-drawn, hand-painted, so everything looks extremely, like you can see the brush strokes, for example, and I do believe that adds to the creepy vibes of the story. The mysterious feeling feels very gritty. It's not supposed to be cute. It's not necessarily appealing to like a younger crowd, so it feels like you're reading a piece of Edgar Allan Poe writing. It's very strange. It's odd. Everything feels off. Let's talk about the world. Now, as the description states, Dredge's open world concept is made up of a series of islands and several points of interest, some labeled and some a little more mysterious and off the map. You'll explore the open water in your fishing boat without ever setting foot on the island. So if that's going to be something that bothers you, you are in the boat the entire time. There is no character model to run around with. When you do dock, the game does insert these still images of different characters and describe what's happening on the land using speech bubbles, as well as the conversations between your character and the characters that you meet around the island and around the world. If you hate boats and open ocean, you will not likely enjoy Dredge. There is a swift day and night cycle. As you can probably guess, the daytime is peaceful while the nighttime less so. Each POI has its characteristics, its unique characters. The environment does feel vast, though it's not huge in terms of open world games, because until the end game and after a big chunk of boat upgrades, your boat is slow and maneuvers poorly. Dredge describes itself as a fishing horror title, and I do think it hits the mark. If you look up the theme Lovecraftian, it should be easy to picture Dredge and the environment. Let's talk about the storyline. Through and through, Dredge is a mystery title. The further you progress, the more the story unravels. This title has multiple endings, spoilers, but I love a multiple ending game. You must travel from island to island, solving quests, learning more about the townspeople that you meet, and all the mysterious characters that you meet along the way. There is side content that complements the main storyline, not necessarily with the individual characters, but the history of the area and information on items that you may or may not come in contact with. Can't say too much about the storyline to avoid spoilers, but if you enjoy mystery and the supernatural, this is going to be a title for you. Let's talk about the characters. As mentioned, the characters are still images with speech bubbles, but they do all have their unique personalities. All the different townspeople, the people that all the vendors that you sell and trade with, they all have their own little quests, their own little backgrounds. They kind of give you hints at, they give you little nuggets of what their background might be. This is part of where Dredge shines, is the art style, in my opinion. The illustrations of the character are fantastic. They look like they're straight out of a book. They're dark, spooky, and at times can be unnerving. Each island and point of interest hosts a cast of characters that will either help or harm you, and the artwork really brings them to life. Let's talk about the combat. In a way, there isn't combat necessarily. Don't get it wrong. There are things in the water that want to sink your boat. I'm not going to give too much detail on that. The devs haven't already shared in their preview videos, but there is stuff out to get you, especially at nighttime. If you go into waters that you're not supposed to go into, if you go out too far off the map, and it's a little too deep, things are going to find you. At night, you do hallucinate, so you might see enemies that aren't actually there, or something that might help you. It turns out to be a rock trying to sink your ship. But what you have escape abilities, not necessarily on the offense. Things such as boosts, bigger engines to make you go faster, type of bad guy, repellent, beacon thing. You just have to see it. You can upgrade your boat with materials and money to make your boat faster. You can have a thicker hull to sustain more damage, but nothing really on the offensive side. Also, beware the giant crabs. That's all I'm going to say on that. Let's talk about the core mechanics. I understand that we've made it this far into the video and haven't really discussed Dredge's biggest mechanic, fishing. There are a ton of fish, so many fish to fish, and there are alternate versions of the fish you fish. These abnormal versions are called aberrations. Think the normal fish, but touched with a little darkness. Something's off. Just like the rest of the things in Dredge, these are almost normal. Use a series of rods and pots to collect these sea creatures, which can be sold for cash. Use the cash to upgrade your boat, and buy the supplies which help you fish for better fish, and the process continues. Along with the fishing, you'll have to dredge for materials, metals, gears, various collectibles, all this with day and night cycles, traditional questing, plenty of side content, and collectibles, and this constant evil hunting you. Let's talk about the content. I beat Dredge in just under 40 hours while completing all achievements. My guess is this puts the main storyline in the neighborhood of about 25 hours, and they just released a new DLC, the Pale Reach, which is only going to add to your gameplay and your game time. They've also added highly requested features such as boat customization. When I first purchased it, there was no customization. As you added materials and upgraded your boat, it would slowly change form, but nothing that you could control. You can now do that. There's more fish, more quests, more story. For the price tag, there's plenty to do. Talk about the sound design. Dredge has an amazing soundtrack that at times can make you feel uncomfortable. Dredge is not a happy place. The world is not happy. Everything is kind of sad. It's eerie. It makes you shift in your seat while you play. Nothing in terms of jump scares or over-the-top gore, as a traditional horror game might be, but it's just weird. And just like when you feel something is normal, it turns out it's not. Something is always just a little bit off. The music, the sound effects, grunts and groans of the characters play into that. The fishing sounds alone makes it feel immersive. You know, you got the tick, tick, tick as you're bringing up a fishing rod. It's a game worth playing with the volume on. Let's talk about the quality assurance. Now, initially when I did buy the game, I had some issues and I bought it pretty much day one. That first week, I picked it up. Did crash. I had a few crashing issues. Could have been the game, could have been me, combination of both. But after about a week or so, it seemed things to have improved. Things got patched out, and the rest of the ride was smooth. It's not a super taxing game on your hardware. Like I said, it's this low poly, stylized. No real bug issues that I saw outside of the crashing. But again, that was right at release. It played beautifully after about the first week or so. The team there is active on socials as well as Discord. For a small team, they're extremely attentive. So when I first purchased Dredge, it's for $25. In my opinion, that's its floor. Dredge could have sold for about $10 more, $15 more, in my opinion, and gotten away with it. But right now, it's on Steam. It's on sale on Steam, probably for the holidays at around $18. And the DLC is $6. So it's a whole ass DLC for $6, which is fantastic. Even at the $25 price, which is the full price, could have been $35 or $40, honestly. The DLC for $6. All the extra content. Again, it took me just under 40 hours to finish it. There is a lot to do. It's about 20 to 40 hours of single player, depending on how fast you go or if you're doing the extras. With the Pale Reach, my guess is probably closer to 50 hours total for $25 and under. It's a totally unique gaming experience. I don't know how many fishing horror games there are. You should feel safe. You should feel comfortable when purchasing this. This is not going to be a waste of your money. A great gift game. Again, it's on sale on Steam for under $20 right now. As of December 11th, the extras are under $5. The DLC is $6 for the entire thing. Great deal, great game, great team. All right, team, that wraps it up. As always, I'm Ghost Stories Gaming. You can find me on all things social at Ghost Stories Gaming. Just look for Ghost Stories Gaming or Ghost Plays Games. I make TikToks. We're on YouTube. Thank you very much for your time. I'll catch you on the next game. Peace.